is the world leader in serving science. There are over 100,000 employees globally now, so the company has just seen massive growth, certainly over the past few years and over the 9 years that I've been there as well. I think it was maybe about 75,000 employees globally when I started, so it's grown considerably over the years for sure. There's up to 6,000 research and development scientists and engineers across each of the sites as well. And over $1 billion have been invested in research and development, and over $40 billion in revenue as well. So there is a massive amount of work and growth and expansion and investment coming through the company. It definitely is the world leader in serving science for sure. Okay, and just to kind of cover with you our mission statement. So we take pride in our mission, and we work to it every day as employees of Thermo Fisher. We make sure that we incorporate this mission statement into our day-to-day tasks and roles and responsibilities. And it's to enable the world. Sorry, could you just flick back a wee second? I think it just skipped quite quickly past it. So we enable our customers to make the world healthier, cleaner and safer. So very, simple, straight to the point mission statement. And as I say, it's one that we very much believe in and we work to every single day. Just again to kind of touch on the unique scale and depth of the capabilities. So we enable our customers working in such a variety and wide range of industries and markets. So we cover healthcare, life sciences, applied markets, and pharmaceutical and biotech. We really have got a massive amount of capabilities and expertise and supporting our customers across such a wide range of the science industry, healthcare and pharma and biotech industries as well. So we do have absolute massive capabilities and it just really shows the scale and the depth that Thermo Fisher support through all of the sites and our customers. Okay, so our leading scientific product services and workflow solutions. So as I say, we are the world leader in serving science, and we have a variety of, kind of different subdivisions, if you like, within Thermo Fisher Scientific. We have our Thermo Scientific, which is our analytical precision and diagnostics excellence. We have our applied biosystems, which is inspiring meaningful genetic analysis. We also have Invitrogen, which is accelerating discovery and research. Fisher Scientific, which is a one-stop access for scientific products. Unity Lab Services with instruments and enterprise services, and Patheon as our pharma services as well.
Are you able to go on to the next slide? Perfect. Okay.
Okay, so within our PPI system, PPI is the system that we use at Thermo Fisher to drive our culture of continuous improvement across each of the sites and the facilities. We are very strongly focused on our PPI system. We realise that, we have quality issues and things that can happen on a daily basis, but our very, very proactive approach to improvements across each of the sites is through our PPI business system, and we drive this continuous improvement again through our work every day. So within our quality, it's consistently delivering world-class products and services. That is the aim of what we strive to do on a day-to-day basis, is to make sure that we are not only meeting but exceeding our customer expectations in terms of quality and, the kind of quality and standard of products that they expect to receive from us. Our productivity as well. So there's always ways that we can improve our processes. There's always things that we look to do on a daily basis to improve the processes that we have in place in our productivity, and we do that through our PPI system. So improving operating and process efficiency to strengthen our competitive advantage in the market to keep us really as the world leader in serving science. And we also have our customer allegiance as well. So as I mentioned, not only to meet our customer expectations, but also to exceed them as well and really maximise and help our customers reach the success and the goals that they strive for on a day-to-day basis as well. Okay, is this, I'd like to continue going, is this, yeah?
Hi guys, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, my name is Zam. I've got a profile. I'll share my experiences and about me in a bit when I come to my individual slide, but I'll just go through a few more corporate slides about our company. So the key message about this slide is that, I mean, there's quite a bit of text, but the key message is right at the center there in the red triangle, and that's the customer. So as the saying goes, customer is king, but there's also one very important element that we need to operate within, and that is quality. So that's the last word on the right there. And although the customer is king, we have to make sure that all of the products we make are compliant to quality standards, regulatory standards, so that we're not in trouble with the governments or with the customer themselves. So there's I'll just focus on maybe a few of those triangles there. Those are some of the tools or technologies or the principles we operate by. So the top right, there's digital science capabilities. So at the moment, there's some really cool tech being introduced in the division that I work in, where you're wearing sort of like basically like Iron Man. You've got augmented reality visions where you can see what's ahead of you, but there's a screen also in front of you telling what needs to be done, where the tools needs to be used. So it's some really cool tech. It's called augmented reality, and it's a technology called HoloLens, which is developed by Microsoft. So we are working with those. There's also something called digital twins, where the real equipment, you're able to operate it in a digital space. So instead of having to train your operators with the real equipment, you're able to play around with the digital twin within a computer or with virtual reality or augmented reality to get familiar with how equipment and instruments needs to be used and operated. So so there's quite a few things like that which where we're trailblazing, we're sort of go, pushing the boundaries of technology and development within Thermo. So that was just one example. Next slide, please. Right, so this is our company vision for 2030. So like most companies, like the British government's 2050 plans for carbon emissions, we've got specific vision for 2030, which is listed in the points below. So the first one is to be the unrivaled leader in serving science. And I think we've already hit that goal, because we are the biggest player in science at the moment. The amount of products that we make and the amount of services that we offer to science is phenomenal. And even with the COVID-19 pandemic, we are nominated for the best one of the best COVID responders in the world. Even in China, when the pandemic began, it was one of our scanning electron microscopes which were used to characterize the virus for the first time, the genome for the virus. So we've got so much of cool tech that's going around, and I can't see anybody else who's even competing to be the unrivaled leader in serving science at the moment. So the second one is a bit more of a softer goal, but we still want to be one of the world's most admired companies. So it's not only the business, but we want to help our local communities, help students like you guys, educate yourselves, and there's various other corporate social responsibilities in terms of the environment, in terms of the various diverse groups that we are in. That's the initiatives that's tied to be the world's most admired companies. So the next few bullets are again more around the team. We want to have a very diverse team who are incredibly talented. We want to obviously recruit the best minds and the best talent. And the fourth point, again, we're always focused on the customer. That's why we've been so successful as a business, because we are delivering something very unique. We've got end-to-end capabilities. No other or very few companies have got the end-to-end capabilities, all the way from point where a material starts and to the end user being used for services. So that end-to-end capabilities is sort of unrivaled as to what we've got. And then finally, sorry, the fifth point there is unwavering commitment to innovation. So here, although we've got a lot of cool tech, and we sometimes think that we've got the best service and the best technologies available, we don't stop there. So we want to keep improving, and that's a big initiative within Thermo Fisher. It's called PPI, which my colleague talked about. That's practical process improvement. So yeah, we don't want to be like Nokia, where they thought they were the best, and then Apple took over because Nokia couldn't innovate fast enough. So yeah, we'll keep the innovation engine going. And then finally, an exceptional track record of delivering strong financial performance. So we are a business in the end, and we've got to make sure that our customers and our shareholders are happy. So yeah, that's our vision for 2030. Next slide, please.
Sorry, just give me a second. I think it's stuck.
No problem.
Oh, there you go.
Right. So these are our 4I values, and that's essentially the four uh, principles, or the ethos we operate by. And all of our colleagues are measured against these four themes. They are quite self-explanatory, and they're the integrity. You basically need to be honest, and you should operate with integrity with your customers, with your colleagues, with your suppliers, with your service providers, so that it's all transparent, and there's yeah, that's a central tenet in terms of how we operate within Thermo Fisher. And then you've got intensity, where yeah, you're not sort of waiting things to happen. You are the change agent. You want to make sure that things happen, and not wait for or procrastinate for others to do the job for you. So that sort of thing is what intensity is all about. Innovation, we've talked about. Yeah, I mean, you might not hear about Thermo Fisher's developments, but I'm sure you've used a Thermo Fisher product in your lab in uni. I can't imagine any lab in the UK or in Western Europe, for that matter, even in the US, which doesn't have a Thermo Fisher product. So we innovate in so many spaces within science. And then finally, involvement. We want to make sure that it's all a team effort. So yeah, there's a nice proverb which one of my colleagues later on will talk about, how teamwork is the best way to go. So yeah, that's our culture. That's our 4I values. Yeah, next slide, please.
To the next slide. Can you not see it? Our culture. Do you have that on your screen? Sam, can you see the next slide or not? Can't hear you.
Seems to be frozen and his feed is having an issue.
Yeah, you may have a connection. Do you want to take over, Nicola? Or
Can you hear me okay?
yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, right, fine. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened. So again, I won't go through all of the points here, but I'd just like to focus on a few things. So I'll go with the last first, because I've got a nice example. So in terms of the how we help the environment, as Carolyn, my colleague, mentioned earlier, the mission, or the tagline of our company, is to make the world cleaner, healthier, and safer. So with that in mind, that we have several programs where we are trying to protect the environment, where we're developing products which have minimal carbon footprint and environmental impact. So one very good example is the Nalgene bottle. Not sure whether you're familiar with what that is, but it's essentially the water bottle which kids take to school, or our colleagues bring to work. It's just a standard plastic bottle. And previously, that plastic bottle was made of materials which included a nasty chemical called BPA, which has several risk factors involved with it. So yeah, Thermo Fisher was was the first to make these bottles BPA free. And yeah, it's almost a poster child for the company now, with the Nalgene bottles. So that's a small but relatable example which I can give you. But there's way bigger projects going on in a similar vein, where we are trying to protect the environment and keep the people safer. In terms of community, we're very strong in terms of engaging with the local environment. As champions of science, we want to spread the magic of science to all of the schools and universities around us, and we organize several events such as this in terms of STEM activities to help educate the community in terms of science. Yeah, I think I've covered the operational integrity and the colleagues in previous slides. So yeah, I'll move on to the next slide. So I think this is the final slide in this section for me, and this is all about diversity and inclusion. So we, being such a diverse group of people, as we were saying, my colleague was saying, 100,000 around the world. Obviously, there's so much of variation in terms of where we come from, how we think, what our gender orientation is, how we were brought up, what sort of groups we were involved in. So no matter which group our colleagues identify themselves with, we want them to feel a sense of belonging with the company, and we want them to feel welcomed. And one of those ways is to have initiatives such as these. So these are just eight examples, but there's so many other resource groups. So there's one for the Asian community, there's the African Heritage Employee Resource Group, and so on and so forth. Even for veterans, for special events for women. So yeah, in Swindon, for example, Women in Engineering Day is coming in June. So the Women's Employee Resource Group is organizing quite a few senior engineering women who are in engineering senior positions to talk to the younger engineers in terms of how to shape their career and in terms of general career advice. And if, something more related to you guys is the Millennials ERG, which is on the bottom left there. So that employee resource group, again, is for young professionals and recent grads, just to give you some guidance about how best to go about working in the industry as soon as you come out of, whether you finish in uni, whether you finish your apprentice or your diploma, for example. So yeah, so that's we've got specific DNI goals, very specific DNI goals, and there's very senior people also. It's a separate department altogether. We've got a vice president of DNI. That's how much the company takes this importantly, to make sure that anybody who comes into the company feels welcomed and has a sense of belonging. So yeah, that's me.
Hi, everyone. I'm Michaela Livaditaiki. I am a business analyst and CRM specialist here at Thermo Fisher. I'm very new to the company. This is my 5th month. I've moved around a lot. I was not always in this field. My background was actually accounting and finance. And then I switched to operations for 2 years, then went back, got postgraduate qualification in business analysis. And then I started here in October 2021. My career highlight to date would definitely be having worked in 6 different countries and learning more about how cultural diversity affects the workplace and how beneficial it is and what a huge change it can be. My interests, as you can see, are scuba diving, traveling, meeting new people, learning any new skills from languages to programming to whatever. My job it sits under the umbrella of sales operations and IT, because CRM is a customer relationship management platform. We use Salesforce for it. So it does involve programming, setting up flows, but the main focus is always on what can we do better for our customers. My aspirations are to grow and develop in my role. I'm one of the rare people who can honestly say I love my job and I look forward to it. And ideally, I want to explore all 7 continents. Next slide, please. A day in the life of my role, it's very varied. No 2 days are ever the same. Even morning, afternoon will be very different. The main aspect of my role is to design and implement CRM solutions. So I go and work with salespeople, customer service, shipping, logistics, some of the scientists to understand what their challenges are using the platform, what can be made better, what's working, what's not working. I work cross-departmentally, cross-globally, while my main focus is the EMEA region. I do work with teams in North America, Central America, and Asia Pacific. The CRM platform optimization it's grown a lot from what was initially 10 users 5 years ago. It's now over 800 and growing. We expect to be more than 1,000 by the end of this year, probably more. For the optimization aspect, we work across all the different users. I mean, we will have someone from customer service who is going into the customer's order, and up to the extent of we'll work with cell culture scientists who are designing specific items. I'm not a scientist, not from a science background, so most of the stuff in those meetings does go over my head. But in short, it's when they want molecules designed and they have to upload the specs, the whatever technical information is required, so that's visible. The strategy development is ideally 3, 6, 9, 12 months and up to 5 years, how we can better use Salesforce, improve Salesforce, and service everyone across the company. Deployment and management, I'm involved in multiple projects, from refining how accounts are set up to setting up things called flows in Salesforce, which basically automates all processes and stops people having to do boring, repetitive manual input. As part of this, the phrase, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, always comes to mind. This is an African proverb. It's very much a role that you need to work with people. You work with people from all different levels, all different geographic locations, all different backgrounds, and it's fantastic. You learn something new every day. And within Thermo Fisher, there's always the potential to grow. Next slide, please. Thank you.
Hello guys, my name is Emmanuel Changa. Unlike most of you guys, I also went to UWS, the Paisley campus. I don't know if anyone knows Fiona Menzies or John McLean. And I studied biomedical science. So that's what I got my biomedical science degree. And currently, this is my new role at the moment. I'm a project manager 1 at the moment at Thermo Fisher in the customer excellence organization. I'm fairly new to the role, and I've been at the company for the past 5 years now. I joined in 2017, but most of my time was spent in the lab. And one of my highlights was when COVID hit, we were one of the key workers and were involved in making DNA oligos, which were used to come up with a vaccine for COVID. And I'm originally from Zambia, and I stay in Clydebank, even though my location for work is in Chilen. As you can tell from my previous work experience, it's basically been all lab work related. And my interest as well, I'm a big nerd at heart, so I tend to read a lot, the occasional hiking and just general physical fitness. And one of my aspirations as well, ideally, is to travel the world. Trying to learn Spanish at the moment, so hopefully live in Spain for even a month or a few years if possible. Next slide, please. And this is my current role at the moment. I've only started this role since January, so only a few months in. So basically, the role, I'm basically the middleman between the customer and the lab in terms of manufacturing and telling the customer where exactly in the process their orders they've asked us for and where they at in general. So the type of orders I get and I process and enter into our system. They're usually regarding cell culture media, so that this involves powder or liquid media, and this is used for stem cells as well as animal cells, and it can also be used for biomedical reagents. But it's a wide range of different reagents and products customers ask for. So this, as you can see from my bullet points, is basically customer service, support and leading customer conferences, running and reporting, analyzing data, and developing presentations. I'm also a STEM ambassador with the company. So I do a lot of visits to like high schools, universities, even Glasgow Uni at times. I haven't been to UWS yet, so I need to see you guys. And obviously, as well as I'm part of the employee research group as well at Thermo Fisher. So I get involved in the group in that part. And ideally just trying to push the diversity flag within Thermo Fisher. And that's me in the background in my office, and that's all. Yeah.
Hi everyone. So I'm just going to take you through my slides to give you some information and some background on my journey into the science industry and also into Thermo Fisher Scientific as well. So as I say, my name's Carolyn Green. I'm a quality engineering manager at the Shannon site. So at this site I work in, we are responsible for the manufacture of cell culture media. So we manufacture liquid, dry powder, and also advanced granular technology cell culture media. So it comes in the 3 different formats, again, just kind of based on the capabilities that we have to manufacture at the site, and also to make sure we are providing as wide a range and variety of customised formulations and medias to our customers as well within the industry. So I've worked within the quality department for the past 9 years. I was a quality engineer myself up to a couple of years ago, where I became the quality engineering manager. So I currently have a team of 14 quality engineers on site, and again it just really talks to the level of work that comes through the site and how busy we are as a 24/7 manufacturing facility to be able to support the amount of workload that comes through. So my team are very much hands on deck and very responsible for working with all of the different operational teams within the site as well, to make sure that we are putting out the best quality product, and again just really exceeding our customer expectations on the types of products that we manufacture for them. So I work within the BPD and LSG group and division within Thermo Fisher Scientific, and it's one of a few different groups and divisions within the company. Again, just kind of talking to the mass capabilities of different products and services that we provide as a company as well for our customers. So as I say, I started working with the company in January 2013, and I've recently just returned from maternity leave as well. So in terms of my education, qualification and skills, I have a Bachelor of Science honours degree in microbiology and immunology, and I'm really going to start showing my age here. I still call it the University of Paisley, as it was formerly known in 2002 when I graduated. So I was at the Paisley campus for 4 years of my degree in microbiology and immunology, and I wouldn't really try to hazard a guess as to any lecturers or anything who might still be around 20 years later. I have no idea. They may have retired by now. I'm not entirely sure. But I definitely loved my time at the university, and yeah, when I got my degree in microbiology and immunology, just really kind of tailoring my 3rd and 4th years around about those specific areas of science. I really knew that's the direction I wanted my career to be driven in. So from there, over the 20 years I've been working in science, which is quite scary actually to say I've been in the industry now for 20 years. It's quite frightening how time flies. I've built up different qualifications and skills over the years. I'm a qualified lead auditor, which means that I can carry out audits in accordance with the audit standards and regulations, both on site with our customers, and I can also audit suppliers and things as well. So people who supply us with critical raw materials for our processes, I can also audit those guys as well. As I say, I have been a quality engineer now for probably about 10 to 15 years of my career, and 20 years of experience spanning over the science industry in general. My work experience really started off in 2002. I was lucky when I graduated that, you know, there weren't a lot of jobs available at the time in science, and I felt very fortunate to be able to get a lab-based job as my very first job coming out of university. So I worked in a microbiology lab in a biotechnology company in the West of Scotland Science Park, and I stayed there for 2 years. Got loads of experience, lots of lab-based experience, and it just really stood me in a good position for progressing my career further within science as well. I then progressed my career journey on to the medical device industry, where I really wanted to take a step out of the labs, having learned what I felt I had reached my potential, and I wanted to explore other areas. And quality engineering was a subject that really came up and had my interest. It's very much problem solving, dealing with issues, finding the root cause, doing risk assessments, and identifying corrective actions to address those issues and, fix them essentially, and, make sure that they don't kind of happen again. So I really, that's where I kind of really saw my career driving my interest and my focus. And yeah, that's kind of where I've been ever since, really. So yeah, as well as the kind of risk assessments and dealing with issues as they happen, it's also a very proactive role where we do continuous improvements and constantly try to improve our processes through our PPI business system, as I touched on earlier. We very much take a proactive approach in trying to identify and improve processes before problems arise. So really to get in front of them and address them and improve them before we have any quality issues. So outside of work, as I say, if I've not already mentioned 100 times, I am a new mum. I am juggling being back at work full time and also being a new mum on top of that as well. So very, very busy. But when I do have some time to myself, I do very much enjoy yoga and taking some time out to just relax and zone out and try to stop my brain operating as fast as it does for about 20 minutes. And just really kind of use that downtime for me to kind of relax and just chill out. So and again, in a non-COVID pandemic world, I did love traveling. It was one of the things that really attracted me to the job at Thermo Fisher. I've been to various places throughout the world, which I am incredibly fortunate to have had that opportunity to do as part of my job. I've been to Australia, New Zealand, to England, Denmark, various places in Europe. And again, it's an amazing part of my job that I really, really miss, not being able to do that and go out to meet customers and, suppliers and things as well. So I'm really hoping that starts to pick up again in the near future. And again, just when I do have the downtime, just reading, losing myself in a book and spending time with family and friends as well. So in terms of my aspirations, I want to be good at this whole juggling my career and being a mum as well. I want to kind of be an expert in it. I'm not there yet, but I do aspire to be, and just really fulfilling my career goals and ambitions within the science industry as well. So yeah, next slide, please. So a day in the life of a quality engineering manager. So what do I do? I really can't summarise it any better than saying I really do a bit of everything. There's not really anything that we do not do as quality engineers at the site. We do a bit of everything. We deal with internal issues, we deal with customer complaints, you know, as I say, we do proactive work. We work with all of the operational teams across the facility, and yeah, we just get involved in everything really to do with problem solving. Our core role functions really are around about root cause analysis and problem solving, CAPAs, PPI continuous improvements, dealing with customer complaints, leading audits and risk assessments. So all things that I really mentioned earlier that kind of drove me into the career that I'm in. And you know, it holds my interest to this day, because there is no one day the same. In my role at the moment, I cannot say that my job is monotonous, that I do the same thing day in, day out. It's, you know, very, very, very far from the truth. I could go in one day and think I have something to do, and it could change within a heartbeat. So, and I do kind of thrive on that, you know, the kind of crazy busy atmosphere, and you know, it really pushes you to your full potential and maximizes, you know, what you're actually capable of doing within your role as well. And I certainly encourage that within my quality engineering team as well, with the roles that they carry out on a daily basis. As I say, I do manage the team within an extremely busy, fast-paced and challenging environment. It has recently gone 24/7, so it has just got crazy busy. If that's possible to get even busier and crazier, but it has. And we're just, you know, we're keeping up with the pace and just really kind of, you know, getting the job done. We are very fortunate that you know, as a site, we have benefited massively, as you know, various other sites in Thermo Fisher have through the pandemic. It has made us busier, but also feel very fortunate, you know, to have the job that we have and to be supporting our customers in the pandemic, and you know, the products and things that they manufacture as well. So I have just put on the kind of aside there some pictures. So the bottle is a bottle of liquid cell culture media that we manufacture at the site. So it's just to give you an example of the types of products that we make. We do also work in compliance with GMP, good manufacturing practices. We get audited to them on a regular basis by our customers and our regulatory bodies as well, which is ISO 13485, right? That's where we get our manufacturing license from. That's the guys that say we can continue to do what we do on a day-to-day basis. So that's we are ISO certified as a site. And as I say, you know, the pandemic has touched absolutely everyone, and our site, the manufactured products that we make, the cell culture media, helps a lot of our pharmaceutical customers and, you know, our analytical customers to produce the coronavirus testing kits. And, you know, our customers, some of our big pharmaceutical customers, you know, like Pfizer and, you know, Moderna, who have actually manufactured and produced the vaccines, you know, we were there with them, helping them along the way to support their manufacturing process for the vaccines. So it's an absolute honour and a privilege really to do that job on a day-to-day basis and know that what we're doing makes an absolute difference to the world, and how we're actually helping the customer as well to get those vaccines out there. So so yeah, we take absolute pride in our jobs on a day-to-day basis. We absolutely do. In terms of STEM, I am also a STEM ambassador as well. I've been involved in STEM for the past 5 years now, and I'm one of a team of STEM ambassadors at the Shannon site. I believe there's about 30 of us now at the site. It might have grown over the past year as well, but it's certainly something that we pride ourselves in as well. So we do various STEM activities throughout the year across central Scotland. Supported PCR workshops at Glasgow Uni, various STEM days within, you know, kind of like primary schools. So we really support a wide range from primary school across high school, really, you know, kind of into the early years of university students to, you know, really kind of just get out there and let everyone know, you know, the world of STEM and the world of science that's out there for them if they choose to go that way with their careers. So so yeah, again, it's one of the massive things that I enjoy about my job is being a STEM ambassador and being able to do that and really share my passion and enthusiasm for science, and, you know, encouraging kids across all ages to really join the industry and, you know, get out there and, just be part of the wonderful world of science that's out there, really. So it's very exciting, it's ever changing, and it's absolutely privileged, and as I say, it's an honor to work in the industry and to see the things that we do, the things that we deal with, and the products that we manufacture really make a difference to the world. So yeah, something that I'm very, very proud of. So, and that's me. Thank you very much for listening.
Hi guys, Zam here again. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, hello again. So my name is Zam Tahir. I am a process validation engineer within the Pharma Services Group in Thermo Fisher. So what does a process validation engineer mean? Right. So in the Pharma Services Group, we obviously manufacture pharmaceutical products, and that is made using a manufacturing process, which is a fixed recipe. Uh, and part of my job is to ensure that every time you run a batch, that the product you get out of the manufacturing process is the same. So we are a heavily regulated industry, like my colleague Carolyn was just mentioning at the moment, the pharma industry. The government has oversight as to and sets up a separate body called a regulatory agency, which comes and inspects your site, whether you're doing things correctly, whether you're following the good manufacturing practices. So they dictate that manufacturing processes need to be consistent, and the reason being, you don't want a product which is sort of having the lower strength of the medication, or not enough of the active pharmaceutical ingredient in a tablet or in your solution to end up with the customer, so that they don't get the intended therapeutic effect. So yeah, and as a business for us as well, we don't want to be rejecting batches because they have not met the specification requirements that the customer wants. So that's in a nutshell what my job relates to. I'm validating that the process will give you the same product every time when you run it. If you don't, yeah, I'm in trouble. Uh, well, and how do I do this? I as on the top right, I've put in very big bold letters. It's statistical process control. So right up STEM alley, because there is a lot of mathematics there. I see control charts, loads of graphs and loads of charts, tables, numbers, and trying to find patterns and try to catch problems early before they happen, obviously, so that we can address them and put in controls in place, so that, yeah, it doesn't become a much bigger issue later on. So we try to look for trend patterns in manufacturing process, and it's not just simple two variable data where, for example, you're looking at how pH changes with um, volume of water, for example. Just a simple example is it's not as simple as that. This is, we're talking about multivariate. It's a multi-dimensional space, 5D, 6D, even 20D. For you can't physically visualize it, but we've got very powerful mathematical tools to figure out whether a combination of factors is giving sort of trend upwards or downwards. So I do that on a daily basis and check that whether a process is in control or not. So that's the high level activity that I do on a daily basis. I joined Thermo Fisher in March 2019, so it's about 2.5 years now. I'm a chartered chemical engineer. I did my chemical engineering degree at Cambridge, and I'm a STEM ambassador. I've been a STEM ambassador for about 3 years now, doing it locally here in the Thames Valley Group. I'm also the chair of a body called chair for the emerging leaders for a body called International Society for Pharmaceutical Engineering. So part of that role involves getting recent graduates, university students, apprentices, all excited about the pharma industry, and then linking them to senior people, just providing networks and links, and so that the young future talent can question that there's more senior, wiser people about how to best get on with their work and their careers. So I am based out of the Swindon facility of Thermo Fisher, that's down in Wiltshire along the M4. I live in Windsor at the moment, but yeah, I'm originally from Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka is the little island at the southern tip of India. We were a British colony. We were called Ceylon before. Yeah, beautiful place, lots of beaches, lots of greenery, mountains. So that's where I'm from. In terms of work experience, I've been a project manager for solid orals products. So pharmaceutical products have got different categories in terms of how a patient takes them. So solid orals, as they say, yeah, it's self-explanatory. It's oral, through your mouth, and it's a solid product. So your tablets, your capsules fall under that category. And then you've got I've also been a process engineer for medical devices. So medical devices, in contrast to pharmaceutical drugs, is that the pharmaceutical drug gives a therapeutic effect via a chemical action, and the medical device gives a therapeutic effect via a physical feature. It's either electrical, thermal, or something more physical than at a chemical level, which is the case with pharmaceutical drugs. So I've been also involved with medical devices, and that was a really cool experience um, where you send plastic beads into a person's body who's got a tumor. So, say for example, in the kidney or the liver, and then these plastic beads stop the supply of blood to the tumor. So, essentially, cutting the supply lines to the tumor, and therefore it shrivels and dies off, or becomes small enough that the doctor can operate it without harming the organ too much. And my particular project was to coat it with a biocompatible compound where the doctor can see where it's going. So previously, the patient needs to trust the doctor completely, to make sure that it's going to the right place. But now you reassure the patient by showing the video X-ray to say that this is exactly where it's gone, it's where it needed to be. So that was a really exciting project. And then now, when I joined Thermo Fisher, I was a process engineer for a wide range of pharma products. Here, the Swindon side, we're making sterile liquids, we're making vaccines, we're making biopharmaceutical products, powders. So, yeah, process engineer is very similar to process validation engineer, but yeah, process engineer, what they're I'll talk about it in the next slide, because yeah, that slide is specifically about the process engineer. But my interests are around racket sports. I love my racket sports. Tennis and badminton are my go-to. I play squash at times. I'm a classical engineer. I love my DIY projects around the house, the car, even little projects for my boy there. You can see in the picture, I just make things out of cardboard for him. And yeah, get him introduced and inspired about STEM early on. There's a really cool Instagram channel called the Dad Lab. If you guys want to be really cool uncles or aunts to your nephews and nieces, should check it out. They do really cool science experiments for kids. And then finally, graphic design. I love my graphic design. Love Photoshop. Use Photoshop for like magazines, websites, and so many things like that. And yeah, I've got a picture of my hobby, in the sense that's me in Hobbiton. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. That was my honeymoon in New Zealand, and yeah, even my wedding was Lord of the Rings themed. So that's how much I'm a fan of Lord of the Rings. In terms of my aspiration, I'm quite ambitious. I want to be the vice president of technical operations in the pharma services group, say in about 10 years time. So I'm working to taking baby steps towards achieving that goal. And on the bottom left is a picture of how I typically go into a clean room. So that's how clean the rooms need to be to manufacture pharmaceutical products. They are called clean rooms because they are exceptionally clean. The amount of effort and pain that we go through to keep them clean is is phenomenal. When you think, if someone doesn't gown in and go in with your street clothes, it's a shutdown of the facility. You need to clean it for about 2 weeks with using various chemicals, various smoke detections, and yeah, it's a massive operation to clean out something if you've just done something which is not in the procedure, in the approved procedure. So yeah, next slide, please. So this is a quick day in the life of a process engineer, and the responsibility of process engineer is in those three circles. You need to make sure that the manufacturing process is reliable, it's consistent, and it's robust. So consistent, I've already talked about how we use the graphs to make sure that it spits out the same product every single time. reliability is all about equipment downtime. So you need to make sure that your equipment doesn't have too much downtime, and even the turnaround time between products when you make product A versus product B needs to be flexible enough that it can switch from A to B in a very short period because of all the cleaning involved. Obviously, when you make product A, you need to clean the entire equipment so that any residues of product A don't end up in product B. And if there's a contamination, that is a massive issue. It sounds like a small thing when you're not in the industry, but if you have product contamination at the manufacturing site of a pharma product, that it can even shut down your manufacturing site for about 6 months, where the government gets involved, the regulatory agencies get involved, depending on how severe the contamination is. So there's reliability there. That we have a lot of PPI, continuous improvement initiatives, to make sure that the downtime is reduced to minimum time as possible, even removing bottlenecks in the process. There'll be several stages. Stage 1 can spit out 100 bottles per minute, but stage 2 can only process 50. So we try to remove that bottleneck by either improving stage B, or maybe getting a second piece of equipment for stage B that way. And then finally, we've got robustness. And how I can explain that is robustness is the opposite of sensitive. So I'll explain that a bit more further. So say, for example, very simple example, you've got pH, the input of the process can only accommodate pH 7.1 to 7.2. That is very tight. If I do 7.25, the process is going to moan and complain and say, oh, I'm not going to give you the consistent product anymore. It's still just give you something slightly wrong. So when it's so tight, 7.1 to 7.2, that's, you want to engineer them out. So that's where a process engineer comes in. You want to design those sensitive points out of the process, where even though you have a wider variation in the input, say, for example, from 7.0 to 7.5, it can still give you the same consistent product. It'll massage the variation out. So we try to make products more robust, so that even if there is variation in the input, the output is still the same. So one of the tools we use is something called failure mode effective analysis. That's the second bullet in the robustness circle. This was done in the US military, and then by NASA, and then more popularized very recently in the last 5-10 years by Formula One racing, where they anticipate every single issue that can happen. Whether it's like in lap 22, the rain caused the left tire to come out, and they're gonna say, oh, based on the number of laps in this particular circuit, what is the action that we're going to take. So it is a very massive exercise where every single combination of failures are anticipated, and the controls are already thought about, so that when that particular situation happens, we're not panicking and not figuring out trying what to do. We just go to the document and say, oh, we've already anticipated this failure. This is what we need to do to bring it back to normalcy. So that's what we also do to make products robust. So yeah, and the picture there is exactly what we do on a daily basis. We speak to the manufacturing operations team, where quality also attends this. It's called morning huddles. It's about 15 minutes, and it's just high level. It's like, are there any issues? What issues did you see during the manufacturing process yesterday? Anything we need to trend? And yeah, that's what happens on a daily basis in the morning. So and that sort of engagement is amazing, because you've got everybody in the same room to quickly hash out any issues. So that's me.
Okay, so thanks, Sam. So hopefully you've really enjoyed our presentation and hearing the team stories. But we do have a number of opportunities for you to join us. We do have links whereby you can register your interest. You're not applying, you're just registering, and myself and the team from University Relations will be in contact with you to really understand what you are looking for, the timing of when you're looking for it, and what functional aspect you're looking for as well. So we have opportunities for 12-month internship as part of your study in inside sales, which very much helps connect the science with our customers and really anticipate their needs. We've got them located in Glasgow, in Paisley, or Loughborough. We also have marketing in 12-month internships based in Glasgow, and quality internships based in Swindon, Horsham, Oxfordshire and Basingstoke. So if you are interested in the internship opportunity route, then please register on the link that you can see on the screen. And I think Kemi, you're going to put into the chat the link so
Yes.
that you could bookmark it. It takes less than a minute to register, and it allows me to see your details so that I can contact you, and you'll receive an email from me to find out exactly what you're looking for and when. If you are looking for internship that doesn't fall into one of them areas, then that's fine. Just register on the link and we can understand, you know, what part of the business that you're looking to do your internship in. We can see if we can put the dots together and allow you to apply. If I can have the presentation back, please.
Yes, 1 second, Nicola. I'm just putting the other link in the chat and then I'll go back onto the screen. Just 1 second, because I've only got the one screen, sorry. I couldn't do both.
Okay, so if you are looking for graduate opportunities, the same profile, we have a different link where you can apply. Maybe you're about to graduate, maybe you're about to graduate next year, and you are very keen in joining one of our functional areas. Maybe one of my colleagues today, you've got some inspiration and wanting to use your science in a different area. Or if you're coming from a functional area, obviously, we have lots of functional roles that support the scientific STEM areas as well. Please register on the link there, and Kemi will put that into chat as well in just a couple of minutes. But we really look forward to meeting you and seeing you and really answering any questions that you may have. So thank you very much. And can I just confirm, Kemi, you've put both links in now?
Yes, both links are in the chat, guys.
So I would ask for you kindly to store them links either in a document or in your web browsers, and register as quickly as you can, or as soon as you can, and they will be open for the next few days. So if you could register, then we can be in contact as quickly as we can as well. Thank you very much.